freaks. I'm here to give Ophiuchus a read straight from the hip with lots of lip. We're going to see what's on deck for you. It's going to be introduced in February. Okay, we're coming near the tail end of February, but this read is really timeless. So whenever you find it, there's some messages here for you. These are merely things that are introducing themselves in your life at this time, but there will be continuation, okay? You'll see development of what comes in at this time for you, whether it's initial thoughts, ideas, yearnings, desires, longings. I don't know. I'm picking up kind of a longing energy for you, Ophiuchus. This is coming in on the initial download for you. I feel like you know that there's something that you really need to bring to a closure in your life. There's a need for you to make a decision about this. You've been weighing this up for quite a while. You've been at the crossroads. It's like one of those Bardo situations where, you've just really been feeling like, yeah, I know I need to do that, but I also know what it's going to require of me. And I don't know if I can just, have the bandwidth to even untangle all that right now, address all of that right now, face all of that right now. And the place it requires me to go inside of myself to really be able to show up for this experience. I feel like you're pulled in two different directions. I feel like your energy runs hot and cold. I feel like you're very much in two minds about something. I'm really getting this image of this pendulum, a pendulum swinging wildly from one direction to the other. And it's sort of like, don't resist the swinging. I feel like almost like there's a part of you that's been so frustrated with this process of feeling pulled in two different directions that you've sort of been trying to rush it. You've been trying to push it along, maybe even in some cases prematurely bringing things to a closure before you really had an opportunity to see their full potential, just because it started to get a little uncomfortable. Maybe the emotions were getting activated. Maybe there were just things that were coming up inside of you that sort of highlighted areas where you feel insecure, or certain aspects of how you've been addressing situations in your life that you're not quite ready to look at. I feel like it really just brought up a lot of intense stuff for you, whatever you've been grappling with here. And, it's sort of like you were just getting into the meat of it, and then you like kind of pulled up stakes and bailed on it right before it had the opportunity to present the gift that was in it. Okay, this is for some of you coming in very strongly, but I feel like there's a lot of this sort of weighing things up, not being sure what you want to do. One minute you want to go the logical direction, you're thinking with your head. The next direction, you're thinking with the little head. Okay. You're being ruled by your passions, you're being ruled by impulse, you're being ruled by desire. And it's kind of like, don't resist the swinging. I feel like trying to control this place that you're at, which is a place of, I don't know. I just don't know. It's all unknown to me. I don't have the answers. Nothing feels right. One moment it feels right, and the next minute it doesn't. Okay, well, that's fine. It means you're involved in some kind of creative process, right? That's how creativity is. And creativity is not just, picking up a paintbrush, although for some of you that very well may be, what's coming through you right now. Maybe you're working through some of this creatively. Maybe you're writing music. Maybe it's very vulnerable. Maybe it's a very cathartic process for you. Maybe you're writing it out. There's things that have been locked inside of you that have needed to be expressed, but you haven't really felt like it's been safe for you to express those things. So, maybe that's something you're starting to explore now. Maybe you're starting to tell your story. Maybe you feel like nobody's wanted to hear your story, what your experience has been in the situation. I feel like there's a lot you're dealing with. I feel like it's not just one situation. It's not just one person. I feel like it's a lot of different variables and they're all converging at this one point in time. It feels very overwhelming. Feels very overwhelming. And I think the key kind of in this situation, what's coming through, what I'm getting in this download is it's about just letting it be messy. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to nail it right out the gate. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to feel uncertain. It's okay to feel insecure. It's okay to feel angry one moment and then hopeful the next. It's okay. Just let all of it be what it is and see if you can become more of an observer, and watch your experience like an observer. They call that engaging the witness, activating the witness, that part of your awareness, your consciousness that can kind of separate yourself from what you're feeling at that moment and almost get a bird's eye view, of where you're at, what's coming up for you. I think you got a lot of help that's going to be on deck for you as well. Ted just confirmed that, said yes. All right. You will have guidance coming in. Can you be open to the guidance? Maybe you kind of feel pissed off at spirit. Some of you may be a little pissed off at spirit. Some of you may feel like you got a raw deal, or you might be just kind of a little bit fed up with life in general, just feeling like, why do I always have to like deal with so much BS just to get a little something good in my life? I'm just over it. I don't want to continue to go through this anymore. It might be hard to feel gratitude at this time. You might be struggling with this a little bit, and let that be okay too. See, the thing is a lot of times with shadow work, we do a lot of resisting. We don't want to look at it. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to see it for what it is. We're not supposed to feel that. It's not supposed to look like that. What does this say about me that I feel this? It can sometimes be a destabilizing experience. And the key to get through it with most ease is just allowing it to be what it is, not feeling the need to fix anything. Let it be broken. Let it be broken. Sometimes what's broken can come back together in a beautiful new way. Think about mosaics, all that shattered glass, all that shattered sometimes people use dishes, shattered dishes. They don't throw away the dishes, they shatter, they bring them together, they make art with them, we see that also with stained glass. It's fragments, it's fragments, but they come together again beautifully in a new way. And then there's, what is it called? I think it's like kintsugi, something like that. Kintsugi. It's a Japanese style of pottery art where when something gets shattered, instead of throwing it away, they bring it together with this special kind of, it's almost like a gold leafing effect. And it fuses the broken pieces back together again in a new way. So I feel like you're in this process of alchemy. It's happening inside of you, but you're also experiencing it in your life. And the people that you're dealing with in your life, they are also going through these experiences too. So everybody is rocking and rolling. The collective is rocking and rolling. The old ways got to go. New ways about to begin. And it's about being open to the process and not trying to control it, because you have no control over this process. It's something that you have to just ride, you have to ride the wave of it. And that wave is going to carry you to new shores, spiritually, metaphorically, emotionally, mentally, but also in your physical reality. Okay. Also in your physical reality, this coming through. I do think you got something, to the tune of destiny weaving through your life. I say that because I was really guided very strongly to work with this deck of playing cards for your reading. Okay, this is a deck of cards that I got in a very magical way. I was totally guided to go into this antique store. I felt like I had to go in there because there was messages for me. And when I walked into this antique store, I'm not going to go into every detail here, that's for another time, but the moment I walked in the door, one by one, all these synchronistic moments lined up, all these little breadcrumbs on my path that gave me all kinds of guidance about what my next steps needed to be. It was really wild. New Orleans is something that's been coming in for me for a while. And it was really interesting because one of the things I came across was this huge box of all kinds of playing cards. And I love to do readings with playing cards. And I mean, these playing cards, you could get three decks for $3. It was like $1 a deck. And they're incredible decks. Like I got playing cards with all kinds of beautiful art on the back. There's gold leafing on the edge of some of them. Okay. And then New Orleans has been courting me for a long time. I'm really feeling this like energetic pull to New Orleans. And I looked, and here was this New Orleans deck. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. 11:13 on the clock. So that's, that's a message for someone out there. Okay. There's something you're coming into alignment with. And it may feel like a really destabilizing process for you coming into alignment with this thing because it's not within the parameters of ordinary reality. And what is ordinary reality anyway? There are no ordinary moments. The programming, the filtering that we see reality through is what's ordinary. But I feel like you're rebelling against that. And rebellions are challenging. They challenge us. And we bump up against a lot of stuff that is not easy to look at or move through when we're in the process of rebellion, when we're in the process of overthrowing old conditioning, overthrowing the safe parameters we've allowed ourselves to create our life within. We are overthrowing our ideas of who we thought we were, and what we want in life. So this is actually a very revolutionary time for you, and it's really cool. But where you're going and how you're going to come into alignment with this thing, like you can't plan this, you got to really just drop into that sense of internal guidance, where you're feeling energetically pulled, even if it scares you a bit, even if you're like, I don't know what the hell I'll do when I get there, or I don't know how to resolve this. There's some piece here about not feeling like you have to have it all figured out. It's okay if you don't have it all figured out. It's okay to learn as you go. And it was 13:11 and then 13:13 on the clock when I said that. 13 coming up very strongly for you. 13 is a power number. Okay. It's a number of really coming into your power. It also has a lot of connotations for like opening of psychic awareness, otherworldly hearing. You might feel like you're a lot more tapped into that part of yourself. And maybe that's a part of you that you tried to shut down for a while. Sometimes when people open up on that level and they move into expansion, it can kind of rattle them a little bit. It might bring up some of their subconscious fears around that. But I feel like you're heading into a really potent cycle. There's something you're coming into alignment with, and it's okay not to have it figured out. It's okay to just like let it flow and let it open you up in new ways and see what comes out of that. Okay. So that's the initial download I got for you. We're going to start with shuffling now. We're going to do a zodiac wheel spread where we're going to look at 12 different areas of life as ruled by the houses. And then you, Ophiuchus, are going to hold down that 13th house. Okay, that's you, the wild card. All right. And you're going to hold down the overarching theme. So do be aware, timeless read. These are things that are going to be introduced at this time. It's sort of like a look at your energy right now and what's immediately in your sphere and starting to just filter in. And then this will continue to play out as the months progress. I'm really picking up that a lot of these things that will come in with this read, you'll see the fruition of by the time those nodes of destiny change from the north node being in Taurus to going back into Aries, and the south node traveling back from Scorpio into Libra. Okay. And so I also feel like there's some piece coming through to have a look at your chart. Notice where you have Aries, where you have Libra in your chart, what's in your first house, what's in your seventh house. Pay attention to those areas, cultivate those areas, give some time, some care, some attention, some focus to these areas. That's where you're really going to feel supported and get a lot of growth this cycle. All right. So putting the shuffling in at 15:30. I will have timestamps available after this airs. I'll pin them in the comments down below. You can always skip ahead directly to the reading. You're going to utilize those timestamps. But I have to tell you, if you do that, you might miss out on some channeled messages because once I press record, like it's just download time. And though I am pre-recording this, I am in the live chat. So if you want to drop in, if you have questions about something that comes up in the reading, please feel free to bring it in. I'm here to offer support in that regard. I don't do personals in these though. All right. So if you want a personal reading, you can book that with me at BroadCoven@gmail.com. Just shoot me an email. Let me know that you're looking for a reading and I'll take care of you. It's the only way to book a reading with me. And that information is in the description box below of every video as well. Okay. And I just wanted to say, I know there's some new people here. So again, thank you so much to all the subscribers, the people who are showing support for the channel. Really appreciate you. I'm going to be upping my game, bringing more to you. And I'm really excited to have you here. So if you're new here, welcome. And if you haven't subscribed yet, if you dig what I bring to the table, I would really appreciate it if you showed me a little love like that. It's a nice energy exchange, and it does really support me in continuing to bring these messages forward. So I appreciate you. All right, 1706. I'm changing the time on that. 1706. All right, we're going to get in it to win it right now. Let's see, bottom of the deck energy. We have the Jack of Diamonds. This is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. When I bring in the signs, it's any strong placement in the chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, okay? Or even that house just being really highly aspected, having a lot of planets loaded in that sign's house. So this is also about feeling like something is taking forever to move forward, forever to develop. Again, it's bringing up that energy that came forward in the initial download, just feeling very frustrated with how slow, and I get like sloggy kind of energy. Maybe you've even been feeling kind of sloggy, like maybe your outer reality has become so kind of like bogged down with everything that's still hanging in the balance and has yet to be decided, that you're also kind of internalizing that physically. I'm sort of getting this piece of like maybe feeling like you're getting kind of like the lymphs congested. That's what I'm feeling, like the lymphatic system. I'm just feeling the quality of it in my body. Like maybe you've been retaining water a bit lately. Maybe you've been feeling a little bloated, or like your limbs are kind of heavy. Maybe you've been feeling kind of foggy headed, just really tired, feeling weighed down. I think when things feel like they're really moving slow in our lives, one of the best things to do is to get physically moving, like move your body. And you don't have to do that in ways that are like going from one extreme to the other, right? Because you got this kind of pendulum energy going on. So that can be as simple as just making a very like easy commitment to yourself. Okay, every day I'm going to go for a walk, you know, and you don't even have to put a time limit on it. If you're having a really rough day and that looks like, hey, I only have 5 minutes, that's it. Okay. But if you're making this commitment to yourself and you're showing up every day, then it's sort of like you're sending this energy, this frequency out into the universe that says, I'm ready to get moving. All right. So then it's a way that it can kind of become a template for manifesting forward motion in your life. All right. All right, let's do this. Diving in. What is sort of the state of Ophiuchus at this time right now? What is Ophiuchus feeling emotionally, mentally, physically? Where is Ophiuchus at? Show us that first house. Where is Ophiuchus at this time? Where's Ophiuchus at this time? Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I just keep feeling like you're just about to leave something. Oh, this flipped up. I knew I heard something. All right, we'll go ahead and take that. That flipped up in the middle of the deck. It's the only one that did. All right. I was going to say, I keep getting this feeling with you that you know, it's like you get just at the point when you're ready to just like call something quits or cut it off, or like, I'm done with that. I'm not going to invest any energy in that anymore. It's not going to go anywhere. It's stuck. And then it's like something like brings you back again. Like you're swinging in the balance with this choice. There's something that you're really weighing up heavily on your mind. Okay. Where's Ophiuchus at financially in terms of their values, what they're building for themselves? Where is Ophiuchus at financially? Now, where's Ophiuchus at financially right now? Where's Ophiuchus at financially right now? I think that you're really trying to straighten some things out financially too. Maybe that's also part of what is kind of inhibiting your forward motion. Woo. All right, you brought out like a huge chunk of the deck. I don't know how much of this deck I'll be able to use. I might have to switch over to that other one because you just took like half the deck on that. So I think finances are something that's really kind of like weighing you down right now. There's something you need to sort out on a financial level. What's coming up for Ophiuchus in the area of communication? I do that too. I don't care how many cards come out. You know, I'll take all of them. I mean, there must be some strong message there. What's coming up in the area of the home for Ophiuchus? What's coming up in the area of home for Ophiuchus? What's coming up in the area of home for Ophiuchus? I will also say this coming in pretty strongly for those of you who are sorting through things financially. There might be a New Orleans collection because New Orleans collection. Is there something going into collections that's in relation to New Orleans, or is there some kind of debt that connects you to that place? Ooh, that could be spiritual debt too. I'm getting New Orleans, you know, makes me think of root work, makes me think of hoodoo. That's not for everybody. You know, the piper always needs to be paid. That's, you know, that's an energy exchange too. That's a type of currency in and of itself. This is the first house where all those cards that popped out there, they came out face down. So the New Orleans is shown, which is why I'm bringing in the New Orleans piece there, right? What's coming up in the home for Ophiuchus? 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 My goodness. What's coming up in the home for Ophiuchus? All right. Yeah. Some of you might be considering making a move to New Orleans. You might want to relocate to New Orleans, or maybe you're moving from New Orleans, because again, that came up, and just for the way that, and it's so wild with the card that's in the middle. I mean, I'm not getting into the read yet, but so much is pinging off of me, so I don't want to lose this, right? But I feel like this might be what you're considering. Like, do I move from where I am to move to New Orleans, or do I leave New Orleans to move to a new location? It's coming in for somebody. So I just want to bring that in. Or maybe you feel like you left your heart in New Orleans. Maybe you visited New Orleans and you just feel like, man, I just wish I could go back there and drop in there. You might be having some financial problems around making that happen. Okay, we're not supposed to get into the read yet. So you got to slow down some of those messages. What is coming up in the area of romance for Ophiuchus? What is coming up in the area of romance, pleasure, the fun stuff for Ophiuchus? What's coming up in the area of romance for Ophiuchus? What's coming up in the area of romance for Ophiuchus? Fifth house of pleasure, earthly pleasures, fun stuff. You might be feeling like there's not a lot of pleasure right now, because I think that you're really grappling with something. It's kind of like clogging up your energy space. Should I move to a new deck? Okay, I'm going to move to a new deck. Let's go ahead and set that aside. I'm going to stick with the playing cards though. We're going to go to my shadow and light deck. Yeah, look at this. Right on the bottom of the deck, Ace of Spades. I'm telling you, there's something that you're struggling to let go of. There's something that you feel like it's time to bring this to an end, or I got to let this go. And I think because there's an element that's hidden that you don't have control over, okay, something that you are not aware of, there's like a wild card element in your situation that is inhibiting you from making a decision, despite the fact that you know there's something you need to bring to an end. And that's what that trust is about. You don't get to kind of like, you don't get to dictate that. Maybe it's hidden for a reason. Maybe, did you ever think that maybe it's forcing you to really just start to operate in life in a new way, to not think things through logically, and not just to go forward with impulsiveness either, but instead to really come into the instinctual side of you where you really listen deeply to where your soul's directive is calling you? This is coming in very strongly for you, okay? What's coming up in the area of romance? This is my shadow and light deck, so it picks up positive. Woo! That just went and flew out right over that financial New Orleans deck. Okay, there's some connection there, and it is coming up as a crossing influence. Came up in the light though, so I'll be really interested to see what that card has to say. What's coming up for Ophiuchus in the area of work and routine? What's coming? Okay. Going rogue, I see. What's coming up in the area of serious committed relationships, unions, marriages, things of that nature for Ophiuchus. It can also be mergers, any significant merger where there's commitment involved, there's some kind of agreement involved. I was getting binding agreement, came in there. So again, I have to bring in the magical piece because it was introduced. Be aware of binding agreements, in your workings, the way that it can attach you and tether you to things that maybe you didn't really see yourself being attached or tethered to in long term. There's something about this. What we bind, we become bound to, right? That's the thing about bindings, man. I don't think those are very wise workings, except in extreme situations. Okay, sometimes you have to go to extremes in a situation. I've done protection bindings in the past myself, but I will tell you, it was a very difficult decision to make. And I felt like I needed to for my own peace. It was very effective at the time in that regard. But I also found that because of that, my energy was so attached to that situation. So I ended up having to lift it. I had to lift it. So if you've done any binding work, I feel like this coming in is very necessary. That if you're even if you did it for protection, if you did it for safety, something along these lines, you may have to lift that so you can be free of that energy instead of having it, so attached to you, so clinging to you. This piece coming in, all right. What is coming up in the area of, I wanted to say inheritance. It's very interesting. It does have to do with that because it's also the house of death. You might be dealing with an inheritance situation. Also looking at sex, transformation. Okay. Oof. There's something kind of messy there. What's coming up in the area of travel, spirituality, expansion for Ophiuchus? Okay. What's coming up in the area of career, public reputation, PR, brand, all of that. What's coming up in the area of career, reputation, public image, brand for Ophiuchus? What's coming up in the area? Okay. All right. Making some decisions about that, but you got positive support on your side. Okay. What's coming up in the area of friends and community for Ophiuchus? What's coming up in the area of friends and community for Ophiuchus? Woo. Whoa. Wow. All right. That's pretty intense whatever it is that you're looking to bring to a close, it's so you can have a new beginning. And it's something that affects more than just you and, the other people involved in this dynamic. It's something that's really like, you know, uh, it affects the community, it affects your friendship circle, right? I think this is why you've been really trying to make up your mind. There's something you're trying to decide here. Okay. What's coming up in the area of karma, hidden enemies? All right, yeah. I think you got somebody who is kind of like working against you, or is a fly in the ointment in that regard, or there's something kind of like a little unethical here because we got something coming up as a crossing influence in the shadow for that 12th house. Okay, so we are going to dive into the reading, and we'll get the overarching theme card at the very end here. It is 31:17 on the clock. All right. Let's do this. You, where you're at right now, what you're feeling, it's all about a soulmate. Okay. There is somebody that you feel a really deep soul connection with. This is a spiritual link. All right. This is a time when there's going to be a lot of soulmates introducing themselves onto our paths. Now, people automatically, they hear soulmate, they automatically are like, oh, it's love. Not always. Okay. Soulmates come into our lives for many different reasons. Yes, sometimes they are a counterpart. They are somebody that come onto our path to awaken our heart and to grow something together, by that union, by that spark that brings you together. There's something that's ignited in your life. And it can be about a love relationship. It can be about a romantic relationship. It can also be somebody that has come onto your path to teach you something of great value, or to open you up to a new experience that leads you in a life path shift that maybe awakens your purpose or the type of work you're supposed to be doing in the world, right? There's a lot of different reasons why soulmates come in, but we see here that your focus is really on a soulmate. It's on somebody that you feel a deep, deep spiritual connection with. You feel very drawn to this person. At times, you don't understand why you feel so drawn to this person, but you do, and you can't deny it. You may have ties to this person in the past, or when you connect with this person, you feel like, I know you. I know you. I know we're just meeting for the first time, but I know you. And I feel like I've known you my whole life. There's that soul recognition. Okay. This is something that I feel is really predominantly in your energy signature. I also feel like you may have been nostalgic recently. Maybe you've been looking back on the past. Maybe you've been looking back on your glory days. This kind of coming in, but very much in this heart space, feeling nostalgic. And also in regard to this connection, it's opening your heart in some way. It's having you look at life in a new way. And it's very much where you're all at. This is what you're feeling. And just a lot of kind of looking back at the past, but I feel like you're starting to remember more of the sweetness of the past. That's what you're kind of like focusing on. It's not about looking at the pain so much for you anymore. I feel like you're tired of feeling pain. You just don't want to feel it anymore. You're like over it. But I think there is something you're looking back on fondly. And there's some kind of key there, okay? Some kind of key there. Now let's look at this, because this was really the loaded house for you. 34 on the clock, right? Some kind of spiritual message here. Again, it came up, with New Orleans on the top there. This is your house of finances. It's also your house of like what you value, what you won't compromise on at the end of the day. So let's have a look at these cards. We have the Four of Diamonds, the Two of Spades. Okay, there's that decision you're trying to make. You're trying to make some kind of decision that affects your security. All right, it affects your security. This is why you're weighing it out so heavily. This is a decision only you can make. Nobody can make this decision for you. So it's important that you kind of block outside energy so you can get really clear about what you need to do. We got the 3 of diamonds here. This could be in relation to work for you. Do you want to stay in the same line of work? Do you want to go in a different direction? Maybe you've been presented some kind of work opportunity. You're wondering if you should go for it. You're wondering if it can really pan out for you, or there's something you're considering around switching up your work in some way, maybe heading off into your own direction, building something for yourself. There's some kind of blockage here. There's some kind of communications that need to come through in regard to this. It may have to do with your value, feeling like, hey, I'm not being valued here. I deserve a lot more than what I'm getting for how I'm investing in the growth of this business, because I feel like there's something that needs to be communicated. We got this Ace of Hearts here too. So I think it's also in relation, since it is the house of values too. It's not just about finances. I think also this plays out in terms of love, wanting to be seen, wanting to be valued, wanting to be appreciated, wanting security, wanting stability, wanting a new beginning in this regard, feeling like maybe your worth wasn't really acknowledged in the past, and this is something that you've been struggling with. Yeah, you want to open up some communication around this with the 8 of clubs, okay? And you also want to get things moving. You don't want to be in a place of stagnancy anymore. We got the 5 of diamonds there. So that shows that you've been dealing with a sense of lack. For you, I'm getting a strong message that it's not just coming up financially. I do feel like there's some kind of level up you're wanting to see happen financially. There's some kind of change that needs to happen on the work front. Perhaps heading in a new direction with work that's more fulfilling to you. You want to get things moving. Some of you may feel like you don't have the finances you need to really get it launched the way you want. Bullshit. I can tell you that's bullshit. You can make it happen. You can. You got to get creative. You sometimes don't have the benefit of having startup revenue, and you just got to get clever with it. Okay. But you can go one step at a time, do your research. This is about not having that control, exploring that unknown, like we were talking about. I also feel like in love, you're tired of being left out in the cold. You're like ready for love to let you in. You want somebody to see your value. You want somebody to see your value. Maybe the Queen of Diamonds here. Okay. That's Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I also see this as you really just wanting to step up financially, be in a place where you really have more of a sense of financial security in your life. 4 spades here. Maybe things have been a little slow on the business front. Maybe you've been waiting for some money to come in that you were promised. It hasn't been delivered yet. This is on your mind. We got King of Hearts here. Okay. So again, in matters of the heart and how you value yourself, you're wanting to really be valued by another. With the Queen of Diamonds energy coming up there, like maybe you've been waiting for somebody to see your value, but this person only values superficial things. Maybe their stability is more important to them than matters of the heart. Maybe this is where there's a divide and it's an issue. Okay. With the 2 of clubs here, I think both in terms of your romantic relationships and how you feel valued in connections, as well as in your work, I think you're starting to look out into new directions. You want new stimulus. What do we got there? King of Diamonds. Okay, so now we got King of Diamonds, Queen of Diamonds. Okay, so in this regard, I see there's somebody you're moving forward with on a financial level. Okay, maybe you're staying with somebody out of a need for security. Maybe that's the issue when you're feeling called to really follow your heart. This can also be you partnering on a business level with somebody to develop a project you feel really inspired about. You might have earth signs energy strongly aspected in your chart. Okay, but does look like there's positive growth there in the finances. But in order for you to experience that growth, you can't play it safe. Like you got to move away from something that's not recognizing your worth and your value. You got to switch it up a bit. 40 on the clock when I said that. Okay, that's a building block for your future. If you take that risk and you move in that direction about investing in yourself and what your worth is, you're going to really see a lot of progress. Okay. Now, in the area of communication, here we go. There's this 8 parts. There's something you've invested a lot of time and energy in, but you know it's time to walk away from it. You know it's time for you to let go because your heart is calling you in another direction. This isn't easy because you've already invested a lot of time and energy in this situation. You know, it feels like you're kind of throwing in the towel last minute. This is frustrating for you. It's very interesting. It's very interesting because I'm getting this piece like it just came in. Don't throw in the towel before you've even issued the communication. What's been going on in this situation? Have you been waiting for this person to contact you? You know, maybe it's time for you to, say your parting words. I got that, you know. Maybe there's something you need to wrap up. You've been waiting for somebody else to wrap it up for you. Maybe you need to issue those parting words. This coming in. This feels like a very important communication, but this communication sets you free and sets you off on a new path that will lead you to really the fulfillment you're looking for. Okay. It's not the easiest communication, but it's an important one to have. It's a communication about, I'm letting go of this. I'm letting go. My heart's calling me somewhere else. Okay. In the area of home, we have the 10 of spades. All right. This may be somebody you live with, maybe somebody that you thought you were going to enter into a commitment with that involved actually like living together, or maybe you have assets that are merged with each other in some way. This is complicated. You know, this can even be like a really serious business merger, that you're now ending this partnership, and so that's very challenging to walk away from this. Or it could feel like it's like some kind of something that really affects the home life, like walking away affects the home life. I can see how if you're looking to like branch out in a brand new direction financially, this could be kind of scary. Maybe there's some kind of move that's required. It requires you to leave the home that you're in currently, move to a new location to take advantage of a particular financial opportunity that's on the board for you. But there's something you're bringing to a close on the home front. For some of you, it's splitting up. You know, you're ending a relationship. For others of you, you're realizing it's time for me to move. I don't want to be in this space anymore. I'm ready for something new. Maybe there's a lot of painful memories associated with where you live for some reason. But I do see something's being brought to a close so you can head in a new direction. All right. That coming in on the home front. Now, in areas of romance, oh, bam, look. And it was a crossing influence. Okay. We have right there the 10 of spades. All right. A lot of you are ending a relationship. You're walking away from a relationship, or you had some kind of romantic dalliance outside of your relationship that is forcing an ending. And this has put you in the crossroads. I do believe that, you know, you're moving away from a relationship. And this kind of makes you question a lot of things, makes you question about how you're going to move forward. But at the same time, you know you have to do this. It's destabilizing, but you're being called forward in a new direction. Some of you also with this 10 of spades, you're like, I'm not even interested in dating right now. I don't care. I don't have time to focus on fun right now. I got too much serious shit I'm dealing with, and I need to deal with that first. 44 on the clock. There'll be time for play later. Right now, I got to clear out the old cycles so I can step into the new cycle. So I see that message coming in too. But I feel like there was something that happened on a romantic level, or maybe somebody was having a little too much fun. Maybe somebody was partying too hard. Maybe somebody, had created stability in a romantic connection because of this. But there's something that's coming to an end here, and it has to come to an end so you can start a new cycle. We see there is a soulmate on your mind. It might mean, okay, I got to end all this sort of like romantic playing the field, like keeping my options open because I want to focus my energies on this one person. 44 on the clock. Again, I think if you're going in that direction, you feel very spiritually called in that direction. There's something deeper that's drawing you to this person. Okay. In the area of work and routine, what routine? This is where you're at. And look at the money sign. Okay. This is Joker energy. This is about laughing all the way to the bank. This is about taking a gamble and having it really pay off for you. So please shake up your routine. Don't play it safe right now. Work with some of that going rogue energy. Be a maverick, do something different. Think outside the box. It will lead you to a lot of growth, okay? And it's also going to get the energy moving in your life. Like I said, once you start just making moves, once you stop getting so controlled about things and you allow yourself the freedom to just listen to where you're feeling pulled, it's all going to shift for you. And in terms of switching up your work and like going rogue, taking that move it's risky, it's not safe, it leads to big financial payoff, okay? And you'll be laughing. You'll be laughing about it. Like, why was I so scared to do this? Look at what it brought me, all right? So shake it up a bit. Stop playing it safe. In the area of committed relationships, yeah, look at this, okay? We got the Jack of Clubs, all right? That's fire sign energy. It's Ophiuchus energy, okay? Because Ophiuchus comes in kind of at the very, very tail end of that Scorpio cycle in the very beginning of Sagittarius. So this is your energy. It's the desire to move forward, okay? And this is what's really interesting about this in terms of love relationships, committed love relationships. We have the Ace of Spades, but it's in reverse, okay? So what's coming up for me is that you were planning on moving forward in a commitment. And then for some reason, you completely changed your mind about that. You deaded the situation, like you ended it. You're like, nope, I don't think I want this. Now you're in this place where you're questioning it, okay? Because what's guiding you forward is hidden, okay? You don't have proof for it. Remember, you got to get out of the rational brain. You ended this because you knew that it wasn't for you. You've been thinking about ending this. I feel like you're still stuck here a little bit. You haven't completely cut away from it, okay? Some part of you is still holding on because the part of you that's driving you forward with passion and purpose, you have no tangible proof that it's going to amount to anything. And that scares the crap out of you because you think if I leave this to go after this wild dream that's driving me forward, I could end up with nothing. So maybe it's better to just stay here. All right. You need to trust your intuition. All right. This is what's coming in this cycle. It's about moving forward with passion and purpose. This is also about maybe there's an action that you took in the past. Maybe you had kind of like, for some of you, there was some type of behavior or something you were involved in that you were hiding from your partner. This could be an addiction. This could be an affair. It can be anything that if your partner knew about it, they wouldn't be happy. It would cause problems in your relationship. I think at one point you did cut off this behavior because you wanted to work on your relationship, but I think the draw is too strong and you're feeling pulled back in this direction again. Okay. Is that there's like some kind of reopening of energy here. I think it's that what I was talking about in the beginning. You're hot, you're cold, it's yes, it's no. You're like drawn on that pendulum swing. You got to just let it be messy right now. Don't make any decisions. Wait until it settles in the center. It will eventually. Okay. The more you come into your center and you clear in yourself, pour your energy into yourself, make the moves that you are clear about. All right. It looks like finance. You're really clear about a move you want to make in finance, right? The more you focus on that, then the more the rest of the situations in your life will kind of crystallize and become clear to you. Don't move until you're certain, though. You'll know everything inside of you. It'll be undeniable. Okay. Now, it's very interesting because in the area of sex, death, transformation, all of that. You got the theory of 11 card. It's coming up in the light. So again, it's like I was telling you, you're in a big time of growth. You're not being guided forward in a rational way. It's all spiritual. It's all happening on the subtle levels, but you are coming into alignment with your true purpose. All right. And that's destabilizing. It can rock you to the core because you're in a time of really huge endings and new beginnings. And so you're very much in that liminal space. And that's why everything feels so kind of like it's this, it's that to you, because you're straddling the divide between the past and the future right now. And sooner or later, you're going to jump. You're going to jump into that future. Okay. So just let it be okay that it's uncertain right now. There's timing involved in this, there's synchronicity involved in this. So wait until all the pieces fall into place. You will know when it's time to act. And right now, let it be okay that you don't know. That's all right. You're not going to miss what's meant for you, right? Things are going to come together in perfect timing. This is about you having radical trust, all right? Maybe you're used to having, like I said, you're used to having control over things. You're used to understanding how things will progress. You got no roadmap here. And that's something you're just going to have to just really allow yourself to fall into. 50-50 there. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. It's that in between place, just allow it to be a mess. I'm telling you, it'll all come balanced out in the end. In the area of travel and expansion and spirituality, we have coming up in the shadow, the Two of Hearts. Okay. So again, this is that thing. You cut something off, but you're feeling drawn back to it again. And this can even be a way of moving in love too. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're like, maybe you've been in a commitment and you're starting to feel like, I don't know if I want to be in a commitment. Maybe I just want to be single. Maybe I just want to get out there, play the field, have fun. I don't want to get tied down to anything. Maybe you're feeling kind of torn about that. Maybe you're feeling confused about that. I do think there's somebody that you're wanting to have a dalliance with. It may be somebody that's at a distance. It may be somebody you want to go on a little lover's jaunt with, a little steamy getaway with. I think this is something you're considering. It's in the mainframe. It's something that's in the dark, though. It's something hidden. Okay. Do be aware that with the current lunar cycle we're in, whatever's done in the dark will be revealed. There's a lot of exposure there. So make sure you can handle that spotlight glare if you go in that direction. We know that it could have a big effect. All right. In the area of your public image, again, this may be something you're engaged in online, or it may be somebody you're watching online, or somebody that's keeping their eye on you online. This also, if it gets exposed, I feel like because it's kind of connecting to the friend circle. I know that because of what came up in your friend and community circle. It's a new beginning in love, and you're trying to decide, do I take this leap? Because once I take this leap, there's no going back. It's going to be like all eyes on this situation. It's going to affect my social circle. It will influence the way people view me. Okay. This coming through very strongly. And it may come through in social media. Okay. So this may be a little bit exposing. I also feel like a lot of you that are considering getting into any kind of work, like maybe starting your own YouTube channel, or something that involves being a creator online of some kind of content. You have something you want to put out there, or maybe there's some kind of opportunity to partner with somebody in this way that could get you a lot of exposure, maybe being on some kind of podcast or something like that. I do see there's something positive that could come out of this. All right. So if you're worried about that exposure, at the same time, it all comes right in the end. Maybe you need to take the leap. If you're worried about that exposure and how it's going to affect what you're growing on a business level, how it's going to affect your public reputation or whatever, don't worry about that. It's in the light. So you got good favor here. It will all come right in the end. I really get that. I also feel like there's going to be a lot of buzz around you. I feel like you're really kind of building a name for yourself. You're building a name for yourself online. And I got this, where people have been messy in their dealings with you online by the way you conduct yourself in that situation. It's sort of like your name is being cleared. People are clearly seeing who the real issue is, who the problem is. And so there's sort of like this redemption energy there. But any of you that are doing any kind of work on social media, if you've got a YouTube account, anything along these lines, I think you're going to start seeing a lot more people resonating with what you're putting out there. I think you're going to see a lot of growth and financial opportunity. Now, in your friends and community house, we got a new beginning of love that you're weighing up. Okay. And again, it's in reverse. So I feel like this, and it was coming out like this. Okay. It was like a crossing influence. So there's something you're weighing up here. Do I go for this new beginning or do I not? Because once I do, it's going to change everything in my community, in my friend circle. There's something you're really weighing up here, and this is on your mind. You're going to go for it. It was 55 on the clock. It may destabilize things a bit, but you can't help it. It's your new beginning. It requires radical change. But I also feel like by going for this, it's not just about the relationship and coming into alignment with this person. It's really going to wake up something in you. You will not regret it. Okay. Don't drive yourself crazy. And then in that 12th house, all right, you got the 9 of clubs, and it's coming up in the shadow. All right. There are people here that do not want you to succeed. They don't want you to make this change. They don't want you to go for this. There could be some competitiveness around this. There could be some jealousy around this. With it coming up in the shadow, you are being advised to protect your energy, block where necessary, block on social media where necessary, cut off the people that you know aren't working for you but against you. And it was 55 on the clock. That's a pretty darn strong message there. I'm going to go ahead and get you one card from the Kipper deck here to represent your house for overarching theme for Ophiuchus. Overarching theme for Ophiuchus. What do they need to know right now, Spirit? Overarching theme for Ophiuchus. What do they need to know right now, Spirit? Really drive the point home for Ophiuchus, please. They're at that crossroads, man. Give them what they need to move forward in an empowered way. Woo! All right, let's see. It came up in reverse. I'm telling you, mature woman, all right? In reverse. There is some woman that you know, I shouldn't be holding on to this any longer. I need to move away from this energy. This energy is working against me. You know, it's even normally a 6 on the card. Okay, this could be a lover, all right? And I'm thinking of 6, the Lover's card, the tarot. It always involves a choice between one direction or another. Well, this is in reverse, all right? Mature woman in reverse. And now it's a 9 energy. 9 is about bringing things to a closure. Bringing things to a closure because it's how you feel spiritually guided. On a soul level, you feel guided to bring this thing to a closure. It's so important that you make this choice. This can even be, it doesn't have to be a lover, but it could be somebody who you know is interfering or blocking your relationship, causing complications in your relationship. This could be a meddling mother, okay, that's getting in the way. They think that they should be the one to choose who you should be with, you know, all of this stuff. There's something you need to bring to a closure here. You need to bring to an end here. I'm going to go ahead and cut the deck on that. Yeah, thief, okay? This person is robbing you of your happiness. I feel like there's somebody who's interfering with what will truly bring you happiness, and they're causing you great concern, all right? There's something you really need to consider here. And in business dealings where you're in partnership with somebody on a business level and you feel like something's not fair in the financial arrangement, or maybe there's a lack of clarity about where certain funds are going, something along these lines, look to the mature woman, okay? She's operating out of pocket. You know, you may be dealing with somebody who's trying to get their hands on your assets. You may be dealing with somebody who's money hungry, all right? So this is something you want to pay a lot of attention to. It's coming in pretty strongly for you. There's a lot weighing in the balance, all right? And maybe you feel like this mature woman being in reverse is actually not being mature at all, but being kind of childish. Again, remember what came up in that house of public image. If you've been dealing with somebody who's been behaving on a childish level with you and putting you in an uncomfortable position where you feel like it's compromised your standing in your community in any way, don't worry about it because your name is being cleared and this is being exposed, okay? This person may reach out to you too, and this may cause you concern because you're like, oh God, you know, what's going to open